Back in 2013, this little game series called Fire Emblem finally hit its stride after 23 years.
I see you're awake now.
Yeah, it took 23 years, Chrom, but I'm here now. It finally became a recognizable franchise instead of being that game series with Marth from Smash Bros. In it. 2013 also marked the reveal of a game that would change Nintendo fans forever. Hyrule Warriors, a crossover between the Dynasty Warriors franchise and The Legend of Zelda, a hack-and-slash game that starred Link, Zelda, and many other awesome characters from the hit series. These two major events led to the creation I want to talk about today, Fire Emblem Warriors. Like many Fire Emblem games, Warriors is divisive. People either loathe the game and treat it like they were a best friend who dated their mother without permission, or they just enjoy it a lot. There's not a single person out there who has neutral feelings on this game. It's like a Sonic game, it's either really good or it's really bad. No in between. Today, let's journey together from the pre-launch hype through the days after its release. Let's take one final look at Fire Emblem Warriors. Hyrule Warriors dropped on the best console, the Wii U, in September 2014, and it was received pretty well. Critics liked it, Zelda fans liked it, and most importantly, very loud Nintendo fans liked it. Because this crossover was so well done, the fans wanted more. They demanded more. What other Nintendo franchise could cross over with Dynasty Warriors? Ideas were thrown out. Super Mario Bros. Warriors, Kirby Warriors, Pikmin Warriors. But the one brought up the most? Fire Emblem Warriors. It made sense. Fire Emblem is all about giant armies fighting one another. It was the perfect fit. Fire Emblem was on everyone's mind at the time as well. Fire Emblem Awakening popped off and did incredible sales-wise. Fire Emblem Fates was coming up and highly anticipated, so coupling the Fire Emblem hype and the dream of a Warriors spin-off was very common, and I saw it on my Twitter feed at least 5 times a week. Specifically, one piece of art done by Kino Neko depicts Ike fighting Camus in a Dynasty Warriors mock-up, and this picture was shared everywhere. And finally, the greatest year in history, 2017. The year that gave us Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, and a new species of orangutans. Fire Emblem fans received their own dedicated Fire Emblem Nintendo Direct. The Direct revealed Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden. It detailed Fire Emblem Heroes, the upcoming mobile game, and most importantly, Fire Emblem Warriors was shown off. The game all the Nintendo gamers were craving for 2 eternities despite knowing the franchise for less than a decade. It happened. It was a party that day, let me tell you. All night we were partying, we were eating so well. It was a feast. It was a feast. January 18th, 2017. Way more important than May 8th, 2034, my wedding day. The game was in full force hype train mode. Who was going to be in it? Chrom was confirmed, but that was it. Marth, Roy, Ike, Robin, Corrin were all just essentially confirmed because of Smash Brothers, right? 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 Oh boy. As the game progressively got revealed, many fans worried. Where was Ike? Where was Roy? Why is it only Awakening, Fates, and Shadow Dragon characters? It wasn't just the roster selections either. There was an overwhelming amount of sword users. People were not happy. Some fans, like me, gave up complete hope on anyone outside of these 3 games making it in.
Max also likes to live in a fantasy world where, you know, characters like Lyn gets into Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh boy, how wrong I was. Each time a new batch of characters were revealed, the internet did not take it well. Fire Emblem Warriors felt doomed before it even released. October 20th, 2017. The day before my high school bestie got married. Also 3 years to the day that they got divorced. Fire Emblem Warriors released. I, being the big ol' Fire Emblem fan that I am, got the special edition. And I gotta say, it was a banger special edition. Had some cool cards with the models on it, a nifty little poster, and most importantly, the entire soundtrack. It's more common to find a shiny Pokemon than for a game's special edition to have the whole soundtrack. So I'll always give this game credit for that. Great job, Koei Tecmo, creators of this game. Fire Emblem Warriors received mixed reviews from critics, citing its lackluster mechanics, the pathetic story, and, as expected, roster issues. The launch roster of Fire Emblem Warriors was made up of all the royals from Fire Emblem Fates and a handful of main characters from Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. 2 others snuck into the roster, Lyn from Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade and Celica from Fire Emblem Gaiden / Shadows of Valentia. This was a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. Lyn is incredibly popular due to her being the first real Fire Emblem lord to make it out of Japan. And, well, you can take a wild guess what may add to her popularity as well. Awooga! And Celica, whose game got remade the same year, made it into the game simply because the developers had excellent taste and were huge fans of her as a character. When the developers were picking the roster, they had no idea that she was getting a remake. That's such a wild coincidence. And that is always my favorite Fire Emblem fact to drop during a date. I'm still single. So that was the roster. This is when a new issue arose among fans. Here we go! At launch, there were 23 characters, and there were 15 movesets. This means a third of the roster shared a moveset with someone else. I cannot even begin to describe the amount of backlash I saw for this game when people discovered this. It was addressed that the developers wanted to make movesets revolving around the classes of Fire Emblem rather than revolving around the characters. They made a moveset for the Archer class. Unfortunately, all 3 archers in the game had the same moveset because of this. They made a moveset for the Pegasus Knights. Unfortunately, all 3 Pegasus Knights in this game had the same moveset because of this. You understand the issue. And because it was destined to happen, Nintendo fans compared Fire Emblem Warriors movesets to Hyrule Warriors movesets. Hyrule Warriors managed to have 30 original movesets by the end of its DLC, when Fire Emblem Warriors could only muster half of that. That sucks. The lack of moveset variety was not the only issue, though. Fire Emblem Warriors' story was... It's a story about twins losing their mother and kingdom, and then reliving the events of Fire Emblem Awakening and Fates? Literally frame-by-frame recreation. But why, though? It shifted into more original territory after those Fates and Awakening stories, I guess. Their mentor and trainer and local sexy man Darius was actually evil. Oh my god! The queen, the mother of the twins, didn't actually die. Whoa! And then a dragon showed up and some banging music played. And that's about it. That's the entire story. The funniest fact about this game is that the story was written by 4 people: Yuki Ikano, Ryohei Hayashi, Mari Okamoto, and Masahiro Kato. And all of them, except Masahiro Kato, returned to write the story of Fire Emblem Three Houses. A game which many fans consider to have an amazing story. Obviously, Intelligent Systems must have paid for a writing class for them after the atrocity that was Fire Emblem Warriors' story, because that's a mighty step up in writing. I'm normally a pretty optimistic individual, so writing so much negativity has turned my pink heart gray. Let's talk about the gold that's underneath all of this rubble. Despite all the glaring issues with Fire Emblem Warriors, it managed to sell over 1 million copies.
I like those profit margins.
Sure, that sounds like nothing. 1 million? Stardew Valley sold 20 million! Anyone can sell 1 million copies. You're right. So you should go out and buy a game that hasn't hit 1 million sales as of this video. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, available right now on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. Believe it or not, a million seller is pretty rare in the Fire Emblem series, despite having 22 entries as of this video. Up to this point, right now, June 2022, Fire Emblem Warriors is the 4th highest selling Fire Emblem game out of 22 games. This game, which is universally panned, is the 4th highest selling game in the franchise. That is nuts to me, and it is nuts to everyone I tell this fact to. No one believes it, but it's true! The high sales are likely due to it being on the Switch. It was the first time the series was on a home console since 2007. It releasing when Fire Emblem was really peaking in the mainstream was a major factor as well. I also think it's because it's a good game. Fire Emblem Warriors may have had a lackluster campaign, pretty generic original characters, a strange roster selection, and shared movesets. But it did one thing really right. The gameplay was solid. It combined Fire Emblem and Dynasty Warriors super well. I was a huge fan of the implementation of the Fire Emblem mechanics, more so than I was of Hyrule Warriors' implementation of Zelda mechanics. Meaning, yes, I like Fire Emblem Warriors more than I like the original Hyrule Warriors. I'm sorry, Father, for I have sinned. The Fire Emblem mechanics they included were the weapon triangle existing, sword beats axe, axe beats lance, lance beats sword, certain weapons being stronger against certain enemies, such as armor slayers being strong against armored units, and the best part, the ability to pair up units on the battlefield. Pairing up two characters in Warriors allows the player to switch between characters at any point. They can also call upon the paired up ally to attack. The two units can also do special attacks together for greater damage. It's such an excellent mechanic that I genuinely wish every Warriors game had. Pairing up also leads to my favorite thing in this game: support conversations. Oh honey, give me the sugar! Once reaching an A+ rank in support between two characters, they'll have a 3 to 4 minute conversation with one another. This has been a thing in Fire Emblem for the past 70 years, but it was cool to see characters from different games and different universes interact. Like Lyn screaming at Takumi that he's loved.
They would grieve terribly if you were wounded or killed.
Nah, they'd still have Corrin. They like her better anyway.
That isn't true at all. There's only one Takumi. You're irreplaceable.
Or Frederick confessing his undying love for Chrom.
I'm merely grooming this gravel path for Chrom's footsteps. Routine work.
Truly? Oh, how fascinating. I had no idea you were so in love with Chrom.
A huge favor of mine. Chrom and Azura.
What should we talk about?
Well...
Maybe... Did you think of something to talk about?
No, sorry. I was just thinking how funny it is we're failing at having a conversation.
They sound like me with every date I've been on. And finally, Anna and Robin making fun of Owain.
Ah, Mistletoe. A legendary swordsman once used it to save an entire village. Give it a swing. It's got a lot of power. I'll even let you borrow it if you want.
Ha! No thanks. I think it's meant for someone a little more pretentious.
This was the first Fire Emblem game where I wanted to get every support conversation, because they're some of the most well-written supports in the entire series. It honestly gives a lot of characters a second shot at making up for their shortcomings in their own games. The prime example for me is Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates, who had a lot of writing issues in Fates, but Warriors rounds her out, making her a much more interesting and fun character. I love that. It's these aspects of Fire Emblem Warriors that really carried the game. Strong gameplay, rich support conversations, and fascinating implementation of mechanics from the collaboration. After looking at all the positives, maybe the bad isn't so bad. Yes, the movesets aren't varied, but almost every moveset is very fun to play. I can't say that about Hyrule Warriors. Sorry Agatha, you just are not fun to play. Sure, the roster picks aren't super representative of the series, but at the time they represented the two highest selling games and the game that started the franchise. Remember, this was in development before Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, released, which is responsible for introducing thousands to Japanese exclusive characters. The roster picks were pretty safe. Yes, I would have loved to see Ike and Roy and Hector, and maybe even Leif or Sigurd, but Ike's games were actually the beginning of the downfall of Fire Emblem. His games really led to the almost death of the series. Roy, Leif, and Sigurd were only really well known in depth to the Japanese audience. And Hector, well, I don't have an argument for Hector, because we got Lyn. Maybe if Hector had a larger chest. This video has turned from a mini retrospective to a in defense of Fire Emblem Warriors kind of video. But the complaining has always gotten to me. It's not the greatest crossover in existence, but it's still a good one. Judge the game for what it is rather than what it isn't. Many people trash this game because of what it isn't. Focus on what's present and evaluate that. Maybe one day we'll get that dream crossover with characters from every title, but just because this game wasn't that, doesn't mean it deserves to be kicked to the side like a lost little puppy. But let's reel it back in here because we're not done talking about the content. No, we still have the fantastic mode that started great and only became better with downloadable content. At launch, it was announced that Fire Emblem Warriors would receive 3 DLC packs within a season pass. The first pack focused on Fire Emblem Fates, adding my main, Azura, Niles, and Oboro. The second pack focused on Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, adding Minerva, Lind, and Navarre. The third and final pack focused on Fire Emblem Awakening, adding Owain, Tharja, and my queen, Olivia. The issue with these characters is that 4 of the 9 were already in the game, just as non-playable characters who helped you in a few story battles. Their entire moveset was there. Their voice lines were there. It's a slap in the face. It's a disgusting paywall. And the worst part is that some of these characters don't even have original movesets. Why does Minerva have Camilla's magic-based moveset when she has a 0% magic growth stat? Huh? That's the one which really got on my nerves. It's scummy, gross, disgusting DLC, honestly. The fact that they weren't playable is awful. There are no other words for it. Obviously, not enough people bought it because there were a few other characters in the game who existed in the story with a full moveset and voice lines, such as Sexy Darius, Valadar, Garneth, and Iago! but we never received a villain DLC pack like Hyrule Warriors did. I don't blame people for not buying the packs, but I bought it because I'm a sheep, I'm a Goomba. I will buy anything Fire Emblem. Besides the characters, some outfits were added, such as the maid outfit, of course it was, and the butler outfit from Fates. If you bought the season pass, you'd get a gorgeous outfit for Lucina, a bride outfit, of course. You damn Lucina fans. Next Fire Emblem crossover, they'll have her in a Hooters outfit because of you all.
What is Hooters? And why do people keep claiming I have worked there?
They also added armor breaking, which is there for one reason and one reason only. Moving on. The most important piece of the DLC, and arguably the most important piece in the entire game. The reason why I soaked over 150 hours into this sponge of a game. History Mode. History Mode is a game mode that was unlocked after beating 5 chapters of the main story in Fire Emblem Warriors. Once you get through the 6 out of 10 main story, you unlocked the 9 out of 10 part of the game. It sucks it works that way, but hey, what can you do? This mode has many maps from the Fire Emblem series. There's a map based on the arena from Fire Emblem Awakening. There's a map based on the decisive chapter in Fire Emblem Fates. There's a map based on the final chapter in Fire Emblem Gaiden. And each map has a fun little story tied to it. And by fun, I really do mean fun. It's not serious in the slightest.
Die, Norian scum! I'm with Hoshido. Not to be rude, but the look on your face is terrifying. When I even think of Norians, I just can't help myself. Even just saying the word.
The stories are silly and just more of that casual fun found in the support conversations. These maps are super exciting and so cool to see. As a huge Fire Emblem fan, I really appreciate them. You could tell the developers were mega fans of the series just by all the references in each map. I was motivated to progress through these maps because of the references to the series. It was a wonderful treat for the dedicated players. The DLC added 9 History Mode maps. Each one of these maps takes at least 10 hours to 100%, so this is a ton of content. The best part is, when you think it's over, nope, portals appear. There's more. This is my Multiverse of Madness. Without History Mode, I don't think I would be making a video on this game. History Mode saves this game. History Mode made the DLC kind of worthwhile, and without History Mode, I don't think I would be making a video on this game. It'd be a forgettable title. It would be one of my least favorite Fire Emblem games. I'm so grateful it's included. Fire Emblem Warriors was a very interesting game. One that was hyped beyond belief and then criticized to no end for not reaching the heights of Hyrule Warriors. But what's there is pretty good. Yes, there are lows, but there are highs, and the highs aren't appreciated enough. I like Fire Emblem Warriors a lot. It's not my favorite Warriors game, but it's a good one. I'm eager to see how Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes fares. Will it repeat the mistakes of the previous entry, or will they learn from the feedback? If you're watching this after June 2022, you already know. But for now, why not try looking for some positives in this game? Focus on the positives rather than hyperfixating on the negatives. Call me a bootlicker, or a Nintendrone, or an apologist, but I really like this game, and I'm happy to have taken this one final look at it before moving on. I probably didn't mention everything this game has to offer. Like, I didn't even mention it was on the 3DS. Did anyone actually play that version, though? I haven't met a single person who did. So tell me what I missed in the comments below, and tell me your thoughts on Fire Emblem Warriors.